Alright everyone, this is Joaquin. I'm here with Carlos.
We are Cinema Swiggs.
Yeah. We're gonna have a kind of a commentary.
Because we've seen it like twice already.
Yeah. Basically playing it by ear with this one. The first movie we're talking about today is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Episode 7 out of too many. First thoughts going into this, I was expecting something fresh out of Star Wars. I was hoping for something fun, exciting, new characters, new worlds.
I think what I was expecting was the same thing everybody else was expecting. Like, they just hoped it wasn't the prequels. Yeah, so we're gonna get into the entirety of the movie pretty much. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. This will be like an after movie commentary look back kind of thing, just to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, where we think things could have gone in different directions. I think once you watch the movie and listen to this, you'll kind of get an idea. I guess we'll get into it right at the beginning.
Start with the Star Wars crawl. Obviously, it catches your attention right away. You know, you're a kid. As a kid, you knew Star Wars from the crawl, and that warmed my heart when it hit the screen. The first sentence of the crawl is actually really like, whoa! It's Luke Skywalker has vanished, and it's the first sentence on the crawl. It basically explains that the rebels are looking for Luke, who's gone into hiding after I don't think it really mentions an incident. I think it just says after the First Order rises.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so Princess Leia sent her best pilot to go and look for him on the planet Jakku, or has a lead on the planet Jakku, I believe, and that sets us up on the planet Jakku.
Yeah.
We're introduced to Poe Dameron. Or Dameron, I don't know.
Yeah.
However you say it. We're introduced to him, Max von Sydow's character, BB-8, and a hell of a lot of stormtroopers.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, nobody else matters in that town. Because one thing I did want to talk about was that old guy.
You want to bring that up?
That Poe was talking to. Because, I don't know if you caught it, but he seems to have some knowledge of what happened prior to all of this. Like, he seems to know who Luke Skywalker is. He seems to know who Han Solo is.
Yeah.
And he knows the connection between Kylo Ren and Han Solo.
Yeah, he's like, I knew you before you called.
Which is like, why would you kill him off? Like, this guy is probably... Well, I can see why they killed him off, because it's Kylo Ren. And he just wants to kill somebody, but...
Yeah,
I kind of want to know who that guy is.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring that up at all.
Yeah. I believe his name was Lorsan Tekka or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't say it in the movie, though.
Yeah, he has this knowledge of Kylo Ren, and he does know more or less who he was before, he donned the mask, I should say. Mm-hmm. And they do, like, it's Max von Sydow, like, he's in everything. To kill him off so quick, it seemed very odd.
It seemed too rushed.
I feel like these movies are gonna, like, deal with flashbacks. Mm-hmm. They do kind of show one later on in the movie. Yeah. I feel like this isn't the last we've seen of his character. I feel like he's going to show up somewhere in 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. And obviously not still alive because he gets offed, but I feel like he's going to show up in some sort of flashback or just show someone's like past, and because he does have this knowledge of Kylo Ren and who he is. Yeah. Who he's related to.
I mean, what happens after they kill him off? Poe tries to escape. His ship gets messed up. He gives BB-8 part of a map to Luke Skywalker. BB-8 goes off, and then there's that entire scene where Poe gets captured. They take him off to Kylo Ren's ship. We're introduced to Finn. Yeah. Who it seems really weird to me, this whole new stormtrooper thing.
They're kidnapping kids to become stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. They're basically, raising them as to become soldiers. Yeah, that's why the clone troopers. Obviously, they're badasses.
Because they're clones of Jango.
Yeah, they're clones of Jango Fett. But here's the thing: when you go back, and it kind of makes sense when you see, and it's. I think it's a joke in the first trilogy that mm-hmm. they're inaccurate, even though Obi-Wan says like, oh no, these blaster points are so precise that this had to have been stormtroopers. Well, here's the thing: when you look at all those other movies, they're not hitting a damn thing. No one dies. They get off by Ewoks. Yeah, yeah. These clone troopers who are like basically super soldiers are killing Jedi. I'm sure these dudes who are clones would have been able to kill off bunch of little teddy bears.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, unless they were just already at that old phase. They had cataracts and stuff.
Yeah.
Finn, he's a
relatively young stormtrooper.
He's pretty young. I would say in his early 20s.
Yeah.
He's Lando color.
Yeah,
he's also this is the first time we're introduced to a stormtrooper that has a moral compass, I should say.
I think that's the thing that bugged me more about it. Is not that he is like, oh man, we're doing this evil stuff. It's like, you were raised to do this stuff. You've been doing this stuff your entire life, and all of a sudden...
Well, here's the thing, though. It's brought up later on in the film. He was just maintenance.
Yeah.
So I think this is his first time
it just seems,
out in the field.
I think that's why it just seems so weird, though. It's like, oh, you're going to be maintenance. And all of a sudden, you're going on this mission, this very important mission, where it's like, we need to get this thing back.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? What?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this movie I think that's, question it.
I think that's the thing about it, though. It's like, when you're watching it, especially in theaters, it's like you just want to go to have fun, that you don't really think about it, but afterwards you're like,
why was he there?
Questioning everything.
Yeah, so they're ordered to fire on all the villagers in the town, or in the village.
Yeah. And
he's the only one not, unloading on all these people, and cuts to Kylo Ren, and he kind of like gives him like a I wouldn't even call it a scowl, because I mean just that mask is pretty intimidating alone.
Yeah.
And he just like looks at him, and he knows there's something up with the stormtrooper.
You know what's funny is at first I thought, like, why didn't he do anything? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, Kylo Ren's kind of in that same situation.
Yeah.
Like he keeps wanting to have this change of heart. He keeps feeling like, I'm doing something bad, I need to go back. So I feel like he didn't do anything to Finn because of that, and he felt like he'll come around eventually. Like he'll be one of us.
There's a scene later, I think it's right when they like bring up Poe into their
the Star Destroyer?
The Star Destroyer, yeah. A stormtrooper,
without his helmet,
and sweating bullets. Yeah. He has look of fear, and Captain Phasma, the Chrome Trooper, orders him to go to reconditioning or something like that, because obviously he wasn't firing his gun. And cut to Kylo Ren interrogating Poe Dameron.
Yeah. But Dameron.
Dameron. I don't know what it is. It's him like force sucking his mind. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. Just Jedi mind tricks. He reveals to him, I guess, about that there's the droid on Jakku, his little BB-8. So one of a kind droid. It looks like Matt Damon from The Martian.
Did you see that picture online where it's like the inner workings of BB-8? It's just a cat in a ball.
Yeah.
That seems right. BB-8's cool. BB-8 purrs at one point. I don't know if you caught that. BB-8's is Star Wars.
Yeah, it's BB-8's really the most Star Wars thing about this movie.
Pretty much.
You want to cut to where we're introduced to Rey?
Yeah, because there's a lot of interesting stuff with that one. Rey, we first see Rey, and she's salvaging what she can from an old Star Destroyer that crashed on Jakku. And apparently there was a big battle on Jakku. I was looking up the history of all this stuff because I was looking into a lot of Star Wars stuff for a game that we were playing. I didn't read the whole thing, but a lot of old Empire stuff is on Jakku. Like you see multiple Star Destroyers. You see an AT-AT. You just see a lot of stuff, but the first time we see Rey, she's in there. She's climbing around. She's got a rope, and it's a rope she's had there for a while. I don't know if you caught it, but it's caught, put it somewhere, and she goes back to it multiple times. Not in what we see, but the way she has everything set up, it's like she's been there multiple times, and you can see that. Like, so she finds the stuff, she finds what she needs, she takes it back out of the Star Destroyer, and she has her little sled there.
Oh, I called that Mexican snowboarding.
Mexican snowboarding. Yeah.
I think it was on Jackass where they were doing that.
But I mean, even that points to the fact that she's done this before.
Yeah.
So she gets on it. She slides down. She has her cool little speeder with all the
looks
the
like
net
a creamsicle.
Yeah. She gets on a creamsicle, goes back to town, and it shows what she does. She basically is
she's trading in these salvaged pieces for food.
For food, yeah. You can tell the guy she's like getting the food from is just kind of cutting her short of what she should get. But she's just like, screw it, I gotta do this because I'm gonna die. And then she goes home, and then we get to know a little bit more about her.
First thing she does, I believe, when she gets into her little shack, which is revealed to end up being, you know, the insides of one of the Empire's walkers. What was it?
The AT-ATs, yeah.
And she's carving basically like a tally mark into the wall.
Yeah. When
the camera kind of pans away, it's revealed there's a lot of these, and we're guessing obviously right away that it was days in the film.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like she's been doing this a good while. Kind of shows like her making her food that she gets. Real quick, it cuts to she has a little doll of an X-wing pilot.
Yeah, it's dressed up.
It's like got all the little like it looks like a straw doll or something like that.
Like a puppet.
Yeah, and she goes and she sits outside with her. She puts on a X-wing helmet and she's sitting there just kind of like. She sees a ship, I think, taking off from the planet. Mm-hmm. It kind of like shows like her character. I believe she wants something more than this. I mean, obviously, most people would. But the way she's looking up at the ship taking off is like she wants to do that too, or she's looking at it as if it's very, very significant to her, which is revealed later on in the film. Cut to she hears BB-8. She hears BB-8 being
trapped by
this little animal goblin thing on a horse, a fat horse,
a robot horse,
fattest horse. Yeah, it was dude. That thing was cool.
I know. I think it's called a lug beast. Don't ask me how I know that.
That's what I want to be called. I want to be called a lug beast.
It's Joaquin the lug beast.
The lug beast. I believe BB-8 kind of like she rescues it. She fixes his antenna.
She's like, town's that way. Just keep going over there. Don't go too far north. You'll die. And then she walks off. And BB-8's just talking to her like, well...
Let me chill.
Yeah, let me chill. Well, you can't really understand what he's saying because it's just in the dialogue that we hear from Ray. And she's like, sure, you can come along, kind of.
Here's the thing, too, though. You kind of get already what it wants. Like, I feel like it's little... I don't know, like... Obviously, you understand what the hell its beeps are.
Yeah.
But with this one, I feel like I understood it a lot more than R2-D2.
It was almost the same thing with R2-D2, though. The only thing we knew it was saying was because of C-3PO.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It was like... R2-D2 would just make some like beeps and noises every so often, and then it would be C-3PO like, oh no, I'm not going to do this, or you're crazy, and blah, blah, blah. But everything that BB-8 kind of does, it's almost like it's on purpose.
I think BB-8 benefited from a neck as opposed to R2-D2's
who just like left and right
swivels.
Yeah, BB-8 is just basically a top on top of a ball, and it rotates, and it knows what it's looking up at. It knows who it's looking at. It has a big eye, so you're able to see where it's more or less focused on.
Yeah, it's funny how much that robot can emote. As opposed to R2-D2.
Yeah, and I think that's why I love this robot more, and I felt like that... And I'm gonna bring this up a lot through this film, is BB-8 was Star Wars for me. Like, it was fresh, it was original, like, obviously, you know, it's just another droid that beeps, but it had character compared to R2-D2. Like, I like R2-D2, don't get me wrong, like, I love when he screams, but BB-8 was... I feel like you could make a movie alone on BB-8 in Star Wars, and I'll pay to watch it.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And it's like, now that I think back to it, it's like if I could personify R2-D2 like with a voice, I'd probably do like an old, like a mid-aged drunk guy from Jersey, because he was always like trolling people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that would be hilarious just seeing him with that kind of voice.
Yeah.
And BB-8 felt like a little kid to me, like a little kid. I didn't want anything bad to happen.
Yeah.
Because he was cool.
So getting back on board, I believe she ends up taking BB-8 to town. She's taking in more stuff. Like, she's gone and, like, explored a bit again, like, kind of, like, salvaging stuff.
Yeah.
And she's trading in more parts, and the
store
owner wants BB-8 instead of all the stuff, and he's offering her, like, what seems like food for days.
And I mean, you get to see the reaction of everybody else. Yeah. Like, oh man, look at all that food.
She ignores it. She takes off, and he sends some goons to go and
and
pick up BB-8.
you kind of see the power that
this guy has.
Maybe not the power of the First Order, but the reach that they have. Like they have all these people kind of in their pockets.
Yeah.
Or it didn't seem to me like they were afraid of the First Order. It seemed like they wanted to be on the side of the First Order. Because we get this, and then we get something later on in the film where these people kind of just contact them.
Yeah.
Not really prompted by the First Order. Almost like they want something from them.
Yeah.
Like the First Order's offering like money or offering other stuff that these
like
people
reward.
Want. Yeah.
Rewarding them for...
And the older ones felt like if you didn't side with the Empire, you're going to die.
Like that was it. Like
so you're afraid of the Empire. But now it just seems like you just want to be on the winning side. Kind of thing.
Well, I think we skipped the whole escape.
Yeah. Well, because Finn feels the way he does, he helps Poe escape.
They steal a TIE fighter.
It's kind of funny how it happens. Any any stormtrooper that says something that sounds official, you could just do it. Yeah. I guess.
You follow me.
Yeah. We're going this way. Finn kind of pulls Poe off to the side and says like, "I'm busting you out, man."
Poe questions it right away, like, "Oh, you're
a rebel. What are they called? Rebellion?
You're part of the rebellion or something like that."
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not that far off of a name.
Yeah.
Resistance.
The resist. Yeah. The good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you're with the good guys. He's like I don't even remember his response. Really, I think
like,
he just
what?
like,
no, I'm helping you get off.
Yeah, he's just
helping you escape.
And he asks why, and he responds like, "This is the right thing to do." That plays a lot into Finn's character throughout the film. This character is constantly running.
Yeah.
He's constantly sweating.
He's constantly trying to pronounce English like an American.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything about Boyega, and he's not from around here, he does have an accent.
He's from the block.
He's from the block. Yeah. He's from the block that got attacked.
I was like, Moses. Like...
I know. It's like Kylo Ren's getting away. He's ghosted.
He's ghosted.
Finn takes Poe, and so they get into a TIE fighter.
They escape. They blast their way out. They get shot down. They crash land back on Jakku because Poe needs to go back and get BB-8 because BB-8 has the map to Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. So they crash.
And Poe is gone.
Yeah, we don't see Poe at all. We just see Finn waking up.
Finn wakes up in the middle of, or just in the desert somewhere. Yeah. His parachute there. Finn finds the wreckage. Doesn't find Poe. Takes his jacket and he proceeds to find or to head towards town. And he ends up back in the same village that BB-8 and Rey are in. Mm-hmm. He sees the little BB-8 droid, I believe.
Yeah, and he recognizes it because Poe describes it when they're escaping.
It's a one-of-a-kind ball droid, I believe.
Yeah, and he says it's white and orange, and Finn's like, I don't care what color it is, and they're just trying to escape.
He sees Rey's in trouble. Rey's getting attacked by these two goons who...
sent by the
store owner. Finn decides to go like, "Oh, I'm going to be a hero again and go save this girl." And we quickly learn that Rey can handle herself.
Yeah. She's got like this big old stick.
She's got a big staff. She whoops these dudes like she was Donnie from the Ninja Turtles. And then I believe BB-8 spots him and he like snitches him out like that's my owner's jacket.
Yeah.
Rey goes in a full sprint and like basically like ready to murder.
She basically clotheslines him.
Yeah.
And they start questioning him. They find out that Poe's gone. The only reason he has the jacket is because he found it in the wreckage. He convinces Rey that he's part of the Resistance and they need to get BB-8 back to the base. That's where First Order comes in, starts taking everything out. One of my favorite stormtroopers comes in, where they're just walking out of nowhere and they just push this guy over who's like not even in their way. It's just like, hey, you, I'm gonna push you because I'm a bad guy. It was just so weird. The first time I saw that movie, I couldn't stop laughing at that part. And me and my brothers were like, that was the best part of the movie. And then that introduces us to...
Yeah, they're running away to a quad jumper. Well, here's the thing, too, I'm going to bring up. Mm-hmm. As they're running away, Finn sees the stormtroopers right away, and he grabs Rey's hand, and he takes off.
I think a lot of people took that the wrong way, though. Because I think I know what you're going to say about this.
Yeah, Here's the thing I wanted to talk about. A lot of people, she can handle herself. That's plain and simple.
She's a strong, independent woman who don't need no man.
Exactly. Throughout the scene, Finn keeps taking her hand, and she keeps yelling, "Stop taking my hand! Like, I can handle this. Like, I can run away.
I got this.
I could run away by myself."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna touch up on this real quick because I feel like it needs to be said, and I don't think a lot of people take it into consideration. They just see like
guy grabs girl's hand.
Yeah,
in
guy
danger.
grabs girl's hand. You know, he wants to be. You know, or the girl seems weak, and you know she's obviously saying she's not, and it's just a way to say like, oh, she's strong. Well, Finn's character is he's running away from something. Mm-hmm. The entire film is him running away from the First Order. It's gonna play into one of the last scenes of the film with Finn. Mm-hmm. He's constantly taking her hand, and I don't believe it's because he's just trying to get them out of there. Mm-hmm. It's because he sees she can handle herself. She took on these two dudes like they were like children. Finn is afraid.
Yes.
Finn takes her hand because he's scared.
Yeah, he's doing it more for his sake than hers. It's slightly revealed in that whole scene. Like, he's always looking for a blaster because he needs a blaster. He can't do anything without a blaster.
Yeah.
And she can.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course he wants to be with her, but at the same time, he lets off that little line somewhere later in the movie where it's like, you looked at me like no one had. Because everybody looks at the stormtroopers like, these guys again. And she just, the first time she ever sees him, it's like, hey, it's that guy. Find out what's going on.
Not really.
I mean, not right up front, but I mean, everything that happens between then, it's just like, they're normal people to each other.
Yeah. And
everybody else he's had to deal with is either another stormtrooper, or Phasma, or Kylo Ren.
If he's not afraid of who he's reporting to, mm-hmm. people are gonna look at him and be afraid because obviously his getup. I mean, yeah. But he is maintenance, so I don't know. Yeah, so they're racing to this quad jumper, and it blows up. So they get on the next best thing, the scrap of junk next to it, and it's the Millennium Falcon. And here's the thing, like, watching it the first time, I'm having fun.
I enjoyed that reveal.
I enjoyed it. Do I think it's necessary? No. There's a big dogfight with the TIE fighters and the Falcon. It's fun to see the Falcon back in action, but we don't need it.
That's true. I was thinking right now, I was just having the thought, like, what if we had seen a different ship that was original? How different would that fight be? I think I would have enjoyed it just as much or better because it's like something we've never seen before.
I think if they introduced like some weird...
Seeing something original in that scene probably would have made it a totally different scene. I think they did do it for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, and obviously, the whole what comes next, but... Yeah.
You know what? A lot of this movie felt like it was... The progression of everything felt kind of stopped by going back to things we've seen in other movies.
That's the big thing about this film that I didn't like about it after I thought about it.
Yeah.
Because when I first went to this movie, I'm not gonna like go in and critique the shit out of it. When I go into a movie for the first time, I'm going in there for fun. A movie can wow me in any way, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, like there's things about other movies that I don't like, but I will sit there because I think it's fun and rewatch it. I watched Star Wars 3 times in theaters. Do I like it? Do I love it? Like, I enjoy it. I paid to see it more than once. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's more of the story. It's fun, and I feel like they could have entertained me without having to go into all this nostalgia. Yeah, I get it. It's like, oh, this is how it's connected to the first movie. So what? Like,
I think it needs to stop with this one.
I'm a little okay. Here's the thing. I'm a little excited for the next one, and it's only because of the director. Mm-hmm. Rian Johnson, known for Looper. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen that one or not. Okay, well, I feel like he creates this world in Looper. Yeah. You don't need an explanation for anything. It just kind of like introduces you to all this stuff. We don't need so much nostalgia. In this movie.
I think if we wanted it, we could go back and watch the old movies.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens next? What were we talking about?
They escape the atmosphere of Jakku, get picked up by this big freighter who we start to assume is
the First Order.
And lo and behold, enters Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, what happens is the most forgettable action.
Yeah,
scene.
I really don't want to talk that much about this scene. The only cool thing about it was they introduced the characters from the raid.
Yeah.
And it was sucked because they were just kind of like almost throwaway, and I don't even know if they lived or not. And I really want to see them again. In this one, it's just like, oh, let's introduce Han Solo and his antics again.
Yeah, pretty much. He becomes like a big part of the story after that too. Like,
yeah,
we see him nonstop until
he's really the star of the movie, I would say, or he's top billing. Mark Hamill.
Yeah. From there, they escape what was a pretty boring scene. Really.
They report to the First Order that Han Solo has just escaped our grasp.
Yeah, even then, it's like another one that's like working for the First Order.
And then Rey's letting him know that they have BB-8 that has a map to Luke Skywalker, and I forget why they even go next to. They go to Maz Kaneda's cantina.
They go.
Both the Resistance and the First Order both know that they're there.
So we got another person contacting the First Order and be like, "Yo, we got the."
And then we get our first connection to the Resistance.
Yeah, and there's that failed attempt at the new Cantina song, and then we get into this weird conversation with Maz. Talks to Finn like she kind of knows who he is. Finn was taken from his parents. Maz says she recognizes Finn's eyes. So I have a feeling in the second or third one...
I feel, though, that line about the eyes, though, is just... It kind of plays into what Han kind of mentions to Finn when he's handing him a gun. Finn's telling Han, like, oh, I'm big in the...
I'm a big deal.
I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal in the Resistance. And then Han tells him, sooner or later, women always know you're lying.
They always find
out the truth.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about that was... Han knows Finn is full of it.
Yeah.
And when Maz says the whole, like, I recognize your eyes.
Yeah.
She's not saying, like, I see, I see family in you. Mm-hmm. What I got out of that was she knows this character, and like I said, going back to his character on All of Jakku, is he's running. Mm-hmm. She sees the eyes of a man that's afraid. And this is, all playing into Finn's character that he is afraid. He doesn't, he's running from the First Order. They know that he already knows that the First Order's, most likely on their way here. And he wants to get to the outer rim of space to
get away,
just vanish. Trying to get Rey to go with him, obviously. And she's like, no, like you know who she looked like, actually? The grandma from the Golden Girls.
She looked like one of my neighbors from back in Parlier. No, yeah. Well, even when we're in the cantina, we see that Finn just wants to run away, so he goes and hires these people that are going to the Outer Rim, and then Rey.
She starts hearing like a child's crying.
She hears the Force Awaken.
Yeah.
And she goes. Yeah, awakening. What we hear is like a little kid screaming pretty much. And it seems really weird. First time I saw it, I was like, wait, what? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And she opens this treasure chest, and inside is Luke's lightsaber. Yeah. And then we get this weird vision of what happened with Kylo Ren and him killing someone, and then...
It was, I think, the Knights of Ren.
Yeah. Right, and then we get Luke Skywalker putting his hand on R2-D2.
What's his name actually holding her? The store owner.
Yeah, I forget his name though.
Simon Pegg. Yeah, and he's holding her hand, and she's like screaming like no, and there's a ship taking off, and it's what we believe is her family, because I believe throughout the film she's even mentioning, like
she's waiting. She has to go back to Jakku because she's waiting for someone. And then after that, Maz is like, "Well, the lightsaber's calling to you, and you kind of already know that it's true. Like no one's coming back for you; they're gone."
She refuses to accept it.
Yeah, so she takes off and goes on this
off into the
run through the woods. And then from there, we kind of get everything going even more downhill when the First Order comes in and starts messing things up. The new giant Death Star blows up those 5 planets
Oh yeah.
That was another thing where going in, you're like, oh, well, it's another Death Star,
and then it like goes over the top and destroys 5 planets instead of one. And then no one really like talks about the planets being destroyed. They're just kind of like,
oh no,
it's the Star Killer base. Oh.
Yeah, which is probably an homage to Star Killer, the character in the games, or Star Killer, the original name for Luke Skywalker, which I thought was kind of cool, but it still felt weird, just another giant Death Star. If it was like something else, I think it would have been a little more interesting and a little less like the older one, or maybe not a device but a person, like almost Darth Maul kind of.
I just want to know exactly how it worked. Because, like, basically what it did was it destroyed the sun. It's
vacuumed the star?
It was like, okay, it was very Spaceballish. They're like, oh yeah, it needs the power of the... It's like Sunny D.
The Sunny D.
It's powered by the sun. And it's so awful. Like, I don't know. Like, this was the part, like, where...
Suspension of disbelief?
Yeah, there it is. My suspension of disbelief was very thrown out the window at this point. Like... Like, what? Like, they show it working. Basically, it shoots this big cannon at the sun, and it's draining the sun into the planet.
Yeah. To
fire off this, like, giant
laser beam.
It's a planet.
Yeah.
They're obviously outside with atmosphere and all this stuff.
Yeah. That felt very not Star Wars-esque to me, even though in the first ones we did see Death Star that could blow up planets. It didn't feel like... But
it was a big ship.
It was a big ship. But that just felt like... But
on the outside, like, I'm sure, like...
Way over the top.
The Death Star, I'm sure, like, it can move, it can rotate. I just want to know how this planet works. Like,
I don't know.
That was my whole thing with this. Like, I couldn't get behind this whole Star Killer base. I got more into the whole idea, and I know I shouldn't have. But I just got more into the whole idea of, like, how the hell does this stupid thing work? Anyways, Finn goes back to get Rey. They let him know, like, oh, well, she ran off into the woods. Like, we don't know. Maz, I believe, gives
Finn the lightsaber.
The First Order, everyone's on planet. And Kylo Ren, I believe, goes after Rey.
Yeah.
Finn's like, I need a weapon. And Maz is like, you have a weapon. And then in comes the best character in all of Star Wars. TR-8R, shock baton wielding stormtrooper who calls out Finn as a traitor.
Yeah.
Takes on a ancient Jedi weapon with a shock baton.
Yeah.
And gives no damn about it.
Yeah. And he does a good job.
This is the first time Finn actually fights. He's failing miserably, and Han Solo, meanwhile, is, testing out Chewbacca's crossbow.
Yeah.
And he's, like, getting kicks out of it, and Finn's about to get, annihilated by this stormtrooper, and boom, crossbow shot by Han Solo. Han Solo saves Finn, and in comes Poe Dameron. He makes his triumphant return with...
squad of X-Wings.
Yeah, and he's a squad of X-Wings, and... It's really exciting to see him come back into the story.
I mean, it does kind of show, like, how badass of a pilot he is.
Yeah.
Which I didn't feel like was too over the top.
Rey is, running from Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren gets a hold of her. He takes her back to the Star Killer base. Kylo Ren. Oh, damn, I don't even think we even talked about that. Supreme Leader Snoke.
Supreme Leader Snoke, because,
he's almost forgettable.
He is forgettable in the sense that he doesn't pop out much, and he doesn't do anything.
But
he doesn't really order anything other than blow up those planets.
Yeah. He's like the Emperor, but not. I don't know.
He's like a more boring Emperor. It's like you see him, he's there, he's probably the mastermind behind all of this, but it's like,
so
I don't care.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really didn't like. It felt like it was trying to be Emperor all over again, but he doesn't do anything. If he at least spoke menacingly and not like cartoonish like he does in the movie, or said things that made me afraid of him.
Yeah, like the only thing we got out of him was the big reveal that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son. And this is coming back to another thing I didn't really care for in the Star Wars, or in this Star Wars film, was I'm kind of sick of this family messing up everything going on in the galaxy.
The one family that ruined the galaxy.
Yeah.
When you guys said it was like the Kardashians. Just like one family ruining everything.
I don't care. Like,
I mean, Snoke is probably gonna somehow have to do with everything that happened in the Empire and all that stuff, which is gonna be like Darth Plagueis' other apprentice.
It's his twin brother or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. You know what? When it comes to Sith, I don't mind that because it's like one Sith has his apprentice.
Yeah.
The apprentice kills the master. He becomes the master to a different apprentice, and it continues.
Yeah.
And everybody's related. It's like all the good guys are related, all the bad guys are related. I don't know. It just feels like it's continuing on too much with these people.
Yeah,
it's kind of tiring because actually this brings up one point that I heard the other day, where the new Star Wars ruined the originals by continuing the story. Yeah. In the sense that at the end of that movie, we had an ending. We had a happy ending. We knew where everything was going on from here. And then this one opens up, it's like, no, Luke's gone. Leia and Han are freaking divorced, and they had a kid, and he screwed up. And it's like all the happy stuff that we had at the end of Return of the Jedi is just gone.
Yeah.
Like, this is how I feel it should have started. Sometime after Return of the Jedi, but with newer characters. New Sith, which we kind of did get, but it's like, again, Han's kid. New Sith, new Jedi.
The shows, they play on the whole Jedi did escape, or some Jedi did escape.
Oh yeah, even in the older movies, Yoda escaped, Obi-Wan escaped.
Yeah, and it's like, show me another Jedi. Like, show me Sam Jackson all... old electrified or scarred and from the electricity, missing a hand.
That would have been cool.
Show me that. Like, yeah. I'll believe that. What I won't believe is, we had a kid, he knows the Force. Luke, tried to teach him the Force. He turned on him because his grandpa, he cared more about his grandpa that he never even knew. I like Kylo Ren as a character. I like him if I don't think of him as Han's son.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny that it's true. Hey, he just seems like an angry guy. And it's fine just being an angry guy, not related to Han Solo. I mean, if he was just one of Luke's apprentices that something happened and he cracked, I'm fine with that. Just having him related to Han, it feels forced.
Oh, that's how he did it.
Oh. A lot of that just feels forced. Like we'll do it like the old movies. It's like
I could care less. That's my big thing. Like,
yeah, they played it way too safe when they should have went crazy.
Yeah,
is my thing.
Yeah,
and I saw this picture on Instagram. I think it was. It shows Rey. It's like, I didn't know there was this much green in the universe. And then right under is a picture of Snoop Dogg. I was like, yes. That's so perfect.
Well, going back on track, Leia and Han are reunited.
Yeah.
Han is like, I saw her son. Again, I don't care. We see C-3PO in his red arm. I don't care. They reveal Finn, he defected. They're looking at him for plans on destroying Starkiller Base.
It's funny how easy they just, accept them. Like, oh, yeah, you renounce them. And it's like, well, he could be a spy.
Yeah.
No, tell us everything.
Here's another thing that's kind of, upsetting, too. Is, they want to destroy the rebels. Kylo Ren, who's the son of these guys. I'm going to skip a little ahead, but there's a scene where Han Solo is talking to Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And he's like, just come home. If he really wanted to mess with the rebels and, get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
What he would do is be like, I'm home, Mom and Dad.
Psych!
Psych!
And we had that conversation in Denny's afterwards, and I was like, if he really, really wanted to take them out that bad, he could do that. But then again, it's like, why have this giant weapon and try to shoot him if we're not going to use it?
But then again, it cuts back into the whole, this is the first time in all of Star Wars where we're seeing a character being torn apart, and it's not because he wants to choose the dark side. It's because he's trying to find the light, or it's the light is trying to call him the other way.
Yeah.
We don't really see that except for Vader's change of heart in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just going to do the same thing in Episode 9.
I kind of hope he doesn't. I want him to turn into a bad guy. But at the same time, it's like, it would be cool to see him bust a Darth Vader and then switch sides at the very end. Because I want to know where things are going to go with him in the second one. Because I feel like...
I just think he looks more like not that I think he looks like a badass now that he has a scar across his face. I think that...
I was thinking about that too.
I was thinking that he's going to be like, in the next film, he's going to be looking in the mirror, like, looking at himself with the scar and like, damn, that's fucking cool.
It's like, I have one now.
Yeah, like...
I think it was enjoyable in the theater, and it did what it did, and it entertained me. But now that I think back to it, as a whole, I don't want this movie to be the direction the rest of the rest of the movies are gonna go in. I want the nostalgia to stop here. I want the second and the third movie in this trilogy to be more original, in the sense that we don't see planets we've been on anymore. Luke needs to die. Leia needs to die. We need to get rid of all these old characters and just stick with the new. Which I think is going to happen in the next one. I think one of them's going to die. I kind of hope they die. I kind of hope Chewbacca dies and goes out like a beast.
Kind of go off of what my friend said about this film. Disney was able to make a film of something that we wanted but didn't need, and they made it in a way where a lot of it is unnecessary to Star Wars. And they took something like Guardians of the Galaxy, where they made something that no one needed, but everyone ended up, basically loving it. Mm-hmm. And they gave us something refreshing with that. They took nothing, and they made something out of it, and they were original about it. Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't have anything to do with any other any other Marvel stuff besides Thanos, in my opinion, so far. All we really got out of that was like, damn, this is a good start. Like, if you made Guardians of the Galaxy instead, like, hey, this is Star Wars, damn, would I be on board for that?
Yeah.
Like,
see, that's what I feel like. Everything. I think that's what it was. The movie was just bogged down by what they wanted to throw in from the old ones.
Yeah. And
if it was completely new, like Guardians, and it was just that fun, and that the characters were like that, where I just liked them so much, that would have been a crazy new Star Wars. But that again, I go back to it, like, we didn't need a sequel. What it should have been is a whole nother series in, like, this Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and they're coming out with the Rogue One.
Yeah.
And that's a prequel to A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting, but I feel like it's not an original story. Like,
yeah,
we know how it turns out.
Yeah.
Do I need to watch this? Like,
yeah, that'd be like having a sequel to, like, Lord of the Rings. It's like, well, the story's done. Like, let's do something new now.
It's like the
Hobbit. It can still be in the universe, but give me a different story.
It's like the Hobbit films. Yeah. Like, you don't need them. We know how everything turns out in the other trilogy.
After they capture Rey, where Kylo Ren has her on, like, this table where he's trying to read her mind to get what she remembers of this piece of the map to Luke Skywalker. And he's kind of just got his hand out and he's digging into her brain with his powers. And he's pulling up all this old stuff about her. And you can see that she, like, starts crying and whatnot, and she's remembering all this other stuff. And he's like, you were waiting for someone.
He mentions, too, he's like, I see an ocean. I see the island or something like that. He ultimately brings up where Luke is.
And this didn't feel all that far out there to me when Kylo Ren's reading her mind and all of a sudden she starts fighting back.
Yeah.
And she's able to see what he's thinking and how he's afraid. It didn't feel that weird to me because even in A New Hope, this guy who's never been introduced to the Force somehow taps into it and is able to use it to destroy the Death Star.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel that different to me with Rey being able to use it against Kylo Ren. And even later in the movie, we get this line from Snoke, like, I'm gonna finish Kylo's training. So that I didn't mind. Because, I mean, again, even the title of the movie, The Force Awakens, Rey is somehow tapping into this without prior knowledge. But after that, she kind of begins to understand, like, kind of what it is and how to use it. Mm-hmm. So then we get the scene where 007 is in the room with her, and she's like, You're gonna open the door and get me out of this restraints. And then he walks over. He's like,
I'm gonna make them tighter.
Yeah. So like it failed the first time. So then she tries again, and she kind of focuses, and she tells him again, and it works. And as he's walking off, she's like, "Oh, well, you're gonna drop your weapon too." Yeah. And then he's like, "And I'm gonna drop my weapon," and he drops it. So we see that the first time she was able to do it was almost out of like a panic response.
Yeah.
And she was able to focus it. Yeah. And then we get to them escaping, or her escaping and trying to get out. But at the same time, Han and Finn get to Starkiller Base, and
they get a hold of Phasma. She turns off the shields for them,
which was weird.
They obviously, again, showing Rey can take care of herself, as she's,
she seems to know what she's doing.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
But I think part of that has to do with her knowledge of like StarCraft and stuff like that from Jakku, and at the same time her new abilities with the Force, I think.
So they end up meeting with her, they're back together, and meanwhile Han and Chewie are setting up bombs.
Yeah, and then we get the whole scene where Han
confronts Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, reveals himself to Han face to face. And they're having a father-son moment, and Han's
father-son bonding time.
Yeah. They, he's trying to get him to come back, basically forgiving him, I guess. It's revealed his name is actually Ben, which is kind of cool, actually. That was the only bit of, like, nostalgia I think I really enjoyed in this film. Was, like, thoroughly enjoyed, like, that Han named him after this old wizard.
This old wizard.
As he called him,
Yeah, this old wizard.
Kylo Ren's like, "Can you help me, Father?" And he's like, "Yes." And he looks like he's handing him his lightsaber. And it's kind of poetic, I guess, is, there is this light.
The sun that they're sucking up with their space vacuum.
Yeah, and there is this light in Kylo Ren that he's trying to, like, turn back to.
Yeah.
And outside, meanwhile, the Starkiller Base is sucking up the sun. And whatever's left of the sun, the light is dimming in the room until there's absolutely nothing. And Kylo Ren does arguably one of the craziest things in Star Wars and kills off his father, Han Solo.
At that moment, the first time I saw that movie, I was like, I bet I know what's running through Han Solo's head. He's like, oh, so that's what it feels like. It's like, after seeing all these people get killed with a lightsaber, he's like, oh gosh, it hurts. Yeah. It hurts so bad.
And everyone's screaming. Finn and Rey are witness to it.
Chewbacca
goes postal.
Yeah.
And I want to bring something up about that little scene with Chewbacca, or with the bowcaster.
Yeah.
They've established throughout the film that
the bowcaster
is a lethal weapon. Like, it killed like 3 guys with one shot. He's killed another guy. It busts straight through his chest. Shot another, I think 2 of them, and they both like blown away and stunned by it. Chewbacca shoots Kylo Ren with the same bowcaster. Straight to
his side. Like, and he doesn't move.
He doesn't move. He almost shrugs it off, and it's just like it's showing how much power this kid has. He's able to withstand arguably one of the most, like, lethal, like, handheld weapons in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's like way powerful compared to all the other blasters in that movie.
And Kylo Ren is almost not phased. He takes the shot, or he gets hit by Chewie, and he almost just, like, he grunts like he is in pain.
Almost like it was just a punch.
Yeah, but you just can't help but think, like, holy crap. And Kylo Ren's just like, I'm gonna go do something right now.
Yeah, so from there...
we have the
battle in the forest.
In the forest.
The rumble in the forest. What happens is basically...
Rey shoots at him.
Yeah.
Or she's, like, drawing her weapon, and Kylo Ren, like, knocks her ass up into the trees, knocks her out. And here's where we get Finn's, like, the big arc in his character is, instead of running and running and running and running, he goes face to face with his former boss.
Yeah.
And he turns on Luke's saber and he's like, "Let's dance, Ben Affleck," and they start going at it, and
they should have played the Mortal Kombat song.
It's a fun scene. It was exciting to me because you got to see the red lightsaber clash against the blue lightsaber.
It's good. It's good that the fight was in a dark setting.
Yeah,
because you could really see that glow. Well, I mean, if you know anything about lightsabers and Jedi and whatnot, you know that they make their own lightsaber.
Yeah,
like they make it themselves in like this weird little Force ritual kind of thing, and I think that plays to Kylo Ren as a Force sensitive being. Like he made this lightsaber, but when he did, he probably wasn't as focused. He was still untrained, and I think it kind of shows even in the design. Like it's not like any other lightsaber we've seen.
Like it's unstable.
It's a lot like him.
Yeah. They're duking it out.
Well, here's the thing, they're duking it out, but Kylo Ren is still messed up by that shot from Chewbacca. So he's not going at it full force. He's not
100%. He's even like abusing himself.
Yeah, he's just like hitting himself in this.
I thought that was cool.
That was cool. I thought that was cool.
He was trying to make himself, feel pain. He was trying to as a drive.
Yeah.
To fight. He's going at it with Finn. Finn's, able to, hold him off for so long. He does like a parry and Finn gets, sliced up across the back.
Yeah. And
he's out. And the saber goes, flying off. Mm-hmm. And Kylo Ren's using, his the Force to, like bring the saber to him. And it's something as simple as a lightsaber that he should be able to like whip into his hand.
Yeah.
And you see him like looks like he's struggling to take it. And he's struggling, and then all of a sudden it flies through the air, but instead of flying into his hand, it flies past his face and into Rey's hand. And
which was actually a pretty cool
and it was a good reveal. It was good, like they are showing her like
she's now, well, she's not a Jedi yet, but now she's like in control.
She knows what she's doing. She knows how to take control.
Yeah.
She's always known how to take control. But I mean, like,
and then we get the fight between.
The thing I love about Rey versus Kylo Ren, she's just thrusting this sword at him. She's thrusting this lightsaber.
Yeah, I know. I caught that. Like she keeps trying to stab him.
Yeah, and I love that because you've obviously seen her throughout the film use her staff.
Oh yeah.
And she knows how to wield this thing. She knows how to do this two-handed weapon.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to use a lightsaber, a one-handed thing. So she's just...
that's one thing I didn't catch. The times that I saw it, I didn't really connect it to her using her staff. Yeah. Because she is used to fighting with a two-handed staff, essentially. Yeah. And now she's going to this much different weapon that she's not used to using, but she's not completely incompetent with it. She's used to fighting, which is good, and that's another reason I think she was able to beat Kylo.
She was capable of using it.
Yeah, she could fight. Now she's using a weapon she's not used to, but at the same time, he's already had a fight. He got shot, or now he's going up against her, who now is able to use the Force, and she's pretty much at 100%. And he is not. Yeah. So, anybody saying, "Oh, Kylo went out like a bitch," like, no, he wasn't at 100%.
That, if anything, it made it better that he went out that way. Rey was like, she poked at the shoulders, and he was kind of like, he was staggering. He was just like, his arms kind of turned into noodles at that point.
I remember that.
And that's how she was able to, I think, like, get like the big strike across his face.
That was cool too. Like after that, I was like, he's gonna have a scar. He's gonna look cool now.
Yeah, and
she eventually takes him out.
She does take him out, but she can't finish the job because
she didn't get to finish him off because there was a big split between both of them, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. Actually, it was like on one end you have him, and on the other you have Rey. Yeah, it's like the two different paths almost. Like just this is the giant chasm between the both.
Kylo Ren losing to Finn and Rey makes it that much better because it just proves, he wasn't ready. And then he is ready. It's going to be that much better to see how powerful he becomes.
Yeah, I think he's gonna take someone out, or he's gonna like murder half the rebellion. But I have a feeling that we're gonna see him at 100%. Yeah, and it's gonna be pretty cool.
Rey runs back to Finn's body, and we're not sure if Finn's alive or not.
Yeah, that entire time I was like, oh man, I hope he's not dead.
Yeah, and Chewbacca is flying the Millennium Falcon. He picks them both up. We get cut back to the Rebel base. Leia's obviously felt Han, go. Well, here's another thing I don't think we've talked much about. R2 was actually in airplane mode.
He was in airplane mode. It's in low battery mode.
And what we don't know is what exactly was the catalyst to reactivate him.
Yeah, that's still a mystery.
Either way, he turns on. He reveals, the rest of the map to Luke Skywalker, which
I actually didn't mind that it was R2-D2 that ended up showing it.
So she's actually going off with R2-D2 and Chewbacca. In the Falcon. She starts climbing up, Pai Mei's steps from Kill Bill. And up at the top is, lo and behold,
the Greybeards.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker in a robe. In a Jedi robe, I should say. His little robot hand.
Yeah.
Here's the kind of the thing I liked about the scene, too, is there was nothing to be said by Luke. It was Rey opening up her bag to revealing his lightsaber, and he looks at it and he looks at her and he kind of has this almost as if he's like teary-eyed, and he's accepting of this lookout.
Yeah, you and me caught this the last time we were over there. He's at the top of this weird little island, but at the very top it's almost like this little grave by him.
Yeah,
like this stone grave.
It's an odd rock that's kind of sticking up.
It's like
very flat.
I want to know what it is because it doesn't say anything, it doesn't explain anything, but it's like it may have to do with the whole incident that happened between him and Kylo Ren. Like maybe that's one of the Padawans that was killed.
Yeah.
But it's not explained. It's just like bam, here it is. There you go. Final thoughts, I guess.
Final thoughts.
You know what's funny though? When I talk about this movie, I talk about all this stuff I remember from the older ones. But when I watch the movie, all I see is like all the new stuff that they did. So despite everything we're saying, I still enjoy the movie. It's still fun to watch. I'll probably watch it again. I think it's a fine sequel. It's okay. It did, I guess, what it needed to do to get us back into the whole universe. So in that sense, I think it did a good job. But I don't want to see the same stuff. So I'm hoping the next one's something different. But I'll probably end up watching that one too.
Again, it is a fun film. It is enjoyable. I did pay to see it 3 times. Saw it twice in 2 days. I can sit there and watch this movie and enjoy it. But when it's only when I think about it afterwards is where it bugs me. That's where it's getting to me is I think I just I'm putting too much thought into Star Wars when I don't know if it should get that much thought.
Yeah. If you like Star Wars, check it out.
If you haven't, I don't even know who hasn't watched this yet.
There's quite a bit of people I know who haven't seen any of the Star Wars, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you haven't seen the older ones or any of them, I kind of wish that I had seen it like that. Now that I think about it,
well,
not have seen any of them and just bam.
I think I might have been okay with that.
What do you want to watch next time or talk about next time?
Yeah, next week. Most likely we're gonna end up talking about the Hateful Eight then. So.
All right.
Next week, 1 week from now.
1 week from today. I'm trying to think of I guess that's it. So pretty much.
Yeah.
So that was our take on
Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Again, next week we'll get to the Hateful Eight, and hopefully we'll get to whatever movies you guys want to hear about. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, let us know. Let us know in the comments about your opinion on this movie. Any thoughts, questions, comments, anything.
That's about it. That's it, man. That's our first episode. Yeah, until Until next time.
Until next week. We'll see you guys later.